Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday edition of Video Clips. I did post a forbidden video at WellnessForumHealth.com this week. Remember, I don't email those videos to you. You have to go see them at WellnessForumHealth.com, okay? And then the forbidden newsletter has content this week. I sent out one that was just sort of a Happy New Year and here's what's going on kind of thing. And you do have to subscribe to that, and we email it to you. So that's at pampopper@msn.com if you want to get the forbidden newsletter. And if you want to see the forbidden video, you got to go to our website at WellnessForumHealth.com. And then just a couple reminders. Today's Thursday, so tonight is Make Americans Free Again, Ohio Stands Up, tonight at our office at 6 p.m. And lots of different career options to talk about here, lots of great classes starting soon. So send me an email at pampopper@msn.com if you want to talk about that. All right, so I want to talk about C.S. Lewis, who Clive Staples Lewis was his name. He was one of the intellectual giants of the 20th century. This is his little bio from his website. He died in 1963, and arguably one of the most influential writers of his day. He was a fellow and tutor in English literature at Oxford University until 1954, when he was unanimously elected to the chair of medieval and Renaissance literature at Cambridge University, and he held that position until he retired. He wrote more than 30 books, and one of them that you probably have heard of is The Chronicles of Narnia, and those books have sold over 100 million copies and been transformed into major motion pictures, as you know. So why am I telling you all about C.S. Lewis? Well, he wrote an article that I think that you're going to find a lot of meaning in. It's called On Living in an Atomic Age. It was written in 1948. And I think you'll see the relevance as I tell you what it says. In one way, we think a great deal too much of the atomic bomb. How are we going to live in an atomic age? I'm tempted to reply, why, as you would have lived in the 16th century when the plague visited London almost every year. Or you would have lived in a Viking age when raiders from Scandinavia might land and cut your throat at night. Or indeed, as you are already living in an age of cancer, an age of syphilis, an age of paralysis, an age of air raids, an age of railway accidents, an age of motor accidents. In other words, do not let us begin by exaggerating the novelty of our situation. Believe me, dear sir or madam, you and all whom you love were already sentenced to death before the atomic bomb was invented. It is perfectly ridiculous to go about whimpering and drawing long faces because the scientists have added one more chance of painful and premature death to a world which already bristled with such chances, in which death itself was not a chance at all, but a certainty. If we're all going to be destroyed by an atomic bomb, let that bomb, when it comes, find us doing sensible and human things. Praying, working, teaching, reading, listening to music, bathing the children, playing tennis, chatting to our friends over a pint and a game of darts, not huddled together like frightened sheep and thinking about bombs. They may break our bodies, a microbe can do that, but they need not dominate our minds. What the atomic bomb has really done is to remind us forcibly of the sort of world we're living in, and which during the prosperous period before we were beginning to forget. And this reminder is, so far as it goes, a good thing. We've been waked from a pretty dream, and now we can begin to talk about realities. It is our business to live by our own law, not by fears, to follow in private or in public life the law of love and temperance, even when they seem to be suicidal, and not the law of competition and grab, even when they seem to be necessary to our own survival. For it is part of our spiritual law never to put survival first, not even the survival of our species. We must resolutely train ourselves to feel that the survival of man on this earth, much more than that of our own nation or culture or class, is not worth having, unless it can be had by honorable and merciful means. Nothing is more likely to destroy a species or nation than a determination to survive at all costs. Those who care for something else more than civilization are the only people by whom civilization is at all likely to be preserved. Those who want heaven most have served earth best. Those who love man less than God do most for man. Let the bomb find you doing well. And of course, I think you see the relevance. In an attempt to have nobody get the flu, we have stopped living in absolute fear. Not all of us have stopped living, but that's what our rulers want us to do. And what they've succeeded in teaching a whole lot of people to do because they don't know any better. And in 1948, this is just as relevant all these years later as it was back then. So my missive to you is go forth, be normal, take off the mask, Go find friends. Start doing normal things. Don't live in fear of anything. I mean, you can fear God, but you don't live in fear of, oh my gosh, what happens if my neighbor gets the flu? It's not a way to live. It's a way to slowly die, both individually and as a society. All right, that's it for today. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think might enjoy watching it, learning more about this issue from a different perspective, and I'll be back to you tomorrow with more news.